Hey everyone, this is Russell Yar with Speed Source FPV, here to tell you about the Simple 70. What I'm going to do here is give you a quick rundown, and I'm going to give you a quick build video. The key word here is obviously quick, right? This is the Simple 70, so it's very simple, very easy to build. It's going to be very fast, kind of more like a standard 5-inch build. The Super 70 rather was a little bit more difficult of a build, really keyed in around aerodynamics and just really centralizing that stack and the frame layer, the center of gravity weight on that frame. But so that made it a little bit more difficult to build. This is more standard, very easy to build and very easy to make weight. Check this out. We have 3 6mm thick stainless steel plates right here. So these are all 6mm thick. Might come out with a carbon edition of the top plate, just because if you're adding on a lot of prints or whatnot, it might be a little bit more difficult to make weight. Or if you're running the VCI motors, those are very heavy. They're about 10 grams heavier per motor than the manual motors we have, which adds about 40 grams to your frame. So if you run the brace version, probably be fine. If you run the stacked arm version, let's get into that here. Run the stacked arm version, you might be a little bit more difficult to make weight if you're adding a lot of weight like motors or prints or whatnot. So essentially here we have two versions. Again, very simple, two versions. One comes with braces, so I have one right here, is the one I flew in Citrus Springs actually. So it has braces, very strong. You can see I actually broke one of these braces. I weakened it on some concrete when I was practicing and ended up hitting something and breaking it at Citrus Springs. I ran it like this, I actually ran it in the front most of the time, and it ran phenomenally. Hit a few things, didn't cause any kind of loosening of the arms, any more braking. So that brace did the job. Obviously hitting on concrete is going to cause it to weaken a little bit, and then it eventually broke. But honestly, taped it up, it was good to go. So this thing is very, very strong. So you got the brace version, so you run 4 arms, 2 braces, or we have the double stack arm version. So both will make spec for Street League. And essentially double stack arm version, you just run 2 arms per corner, right? So you're going to run 8 arms total, and it's going to be, I don't know if one's stronger than the other. One's easier to build, and they're probably a little bit easier to build stacked arms just because you don't have to put braces on. Honestly, not much different. I think the brace version will be a little bit stronger just because it makes that triangle in there, right, when you have the braces. So it should be a little bit stronger, but honestly, probably negligible, because this thing's gonna be very, very durable and very hard to break as long as you're not going straight into concrete, right? So let's get going. Let's get the build. I'm gonna tell you about what we have going on here as we build. But essentially, first thing, we have the bottom plate, we have the mid plate. This is countersunk, pretty standard in FPV frames nowadays. Countersunk the screws, make sure the battery doesn't hit. We also have the mid plate here. Every single hole on this plate is tapped. So the best part, we have 30 by 30 amp, 20 by 20 mounting. So you put your stack screw in there. I'm not going to put it all the way in right now. Put it in there, and it holds it. It holds it nice, tight in place. Very easy to change out stack parts. Don't have to worry about your screws moving. And it keeps it nice and tight, so it reduces vibration. Should be better on the black box logs for you, but not sure how much that matters in Street League. But again, it makes it easier to build, and that's what this is all about, the Simple 70, right? So I have that. These are all threaded as well, or tapped as well, so you can have threads in there, run it up in there. Again, it's very, very simple to build this frame. So let's keep going. So I've already built, obviously you saw the brace frame, I already built on the brace frame, so I'm gonna put together a double stacked arm frame for you. Pretty much the exact same build process. You just have a couple different things here. You have obviously 2 arms per corner. We have a little bit longer screws, so you get 4 M4 by 30mm screws, all M4 on this frame. Again, M4 has been working very well. I don't think I've bent one M4 screw, so strong enough, and a little bit more common than when we see having to get drivers and whatnot for M5, as well as hardware. So pretty common hardware, easy to find, and strong enough. It's very, very durable, this M4 hardware. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, make sure we'll start with the bottom here. Make sure you put these inwards, so the arms are gonna meet right here. And you can see this is cut on the edge a little bit. You can put a full 20mm strap in here without any. You should probably put 25mm straps in here, no issues, very easy. A lot of room in there for your battery strap. Again, a nice and simple objective to keep the frame as easy as possible to build. So we're going to take 30mm screw first. Doesn't really matter. I like to start with the side screws though, because when you put the middle screw in first, it might make it a little more difficult to put the other set of arms in. So we'll start with the middle screw, and I like to put a little thread locker. So I'll put a little thread locker on there, and we're going to shake this thing up first. Just do some medium strength glue, because when you put thread locker on here, run up into these steel plates, it makes it very, very difficult to to come loose, right? So don't have to worry about screws loosening out. Essentially, I'm putting it in the middle there because you can see it's going to go all the way through the standoff. That's why this is a longer screw. So we'll put more on there when we do the standoff. That way it'll lock the standoffs in there as well. So put this on here. And again, you don't have to tighten this up too much right now. We're just going to do it nice and probably about snug. Let's run it in there. Alright, so just like that, actually went a little too far, so I backed it off. Put it in there nice and snug. Same thing. Put a little bit of thread locker, get your smaller screw. And that's probably more, it's probably way more than I need, to be honest. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe on another screw, but you don't need much on these because they're very small screws. So you got them. That's probably just about, maybe even a little more. That's a good amount right there. So I'm going to leave that screw like this so we can go back to that one in a second and then just run this one in here again. Not super tight, but nice and snug. Alright, so we got this first arm on there again, not tight, snug. You can see it pops out a little bit, but you know, that's actually good because that way you have threads that are going to catch the entire way through. So if something happens inside, you know, some of the threads get a little loose in there, you still have all the way threads going all the way through, and then it leaves about just about a millimeter on top, which is honestly perfect. That's right where I want it. So it ended up where we need it, and it's good to go. So let's take this, put the rest of these 6 arms on, and then we'll catch back up. I actually made a mistake here. I normally would edit this out because it happens more often than it should, really. But when you put these together, you want to make sure, see, these 2 ends are rounded here. 2 ends are round. You want to make sure those match up because this is offset. You know, and make sure you can easily fit big ESCs in there like the Hobbywing 6EM, which is very popular in Street League. So make sure those are rounded up. This is offset. Are rounded, are matched up. This is offset, so you can fit, you know, pretty much any 30 by 30 ESC and still be nice and compact, but still have a lot of room to build. So put that in there, and then now you're good to go. So I did that backwards, but we're gonna go back, put these arms in, and then we'll catch back up. Now that we've got the 4 primary screws, I'm going to go ahead and put the middle screws in, and the best part is if you do have to change the arm on this, again, you don't have to take out this middle screw. It's really in there, just adds an extra level of strength. Might not even be necessary, definitely not necessary with, probably not necessary with the braces, but honestly, easy to just put it in there and add that extra strength, and we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about weight on Street League frames as much, right? So having an extra screw in there to add an extra little bit of strength is not going to hurt anyway. Alright, so we got these in there. Now I'm just going to go through and tighten them all up. So now that the arms are all square, all the screws are in there, go ahead and tighten them all the way down, and it should be good to go. Now we have the bases of the frame. You can go ahead and you can put these in here, you know, the standoff screws in there right now, or you can put them in there before. It's probably easier to do it before, but I'm not going to put them in there just to show you guys what we got going on here, make it a little bit easier to see. But at the same time, you know, we got these arms on here, stacked arms. Again, this meets Street League spec. Again, when you have a you know, double stacked arms in here, you have a ton of room inside there. So you can probably go ahead, you might be able to put a little bit of weight in there, a lot of room for your battery strap, or you might be able to add in an RX or something under there if you want to. You should have plenty of room inside here to build, but again, it's your choice. You don't have as much room when you single stack. You do the braces, but you don't really need anything in there, so that's just another option. But what we're going to do next here is, I'm not going to do this right now because I want to take this frame back apart and put it all the way together with components on it. But essentially, I would go ahead and put some thread locker on each of these, and then I would go ahead and screw these in here as tight as I can. So put those on there. And you don't need to make these super tight because they're going to be pretty strong already, but I like to tighten them all the way down and make sure they're not going to move, just because that makes sure it holds the screw in there and make sure nothing loosens up as you fly. With Street League frames, you don't want to have to worry about maintenance on them as much, so if you keep everything tight, you don't have to worry about tightening things later and coming back to it, so it's already good to go. Alright, so I got the standoffs on here. What I like to do, I don't know if this is, let's see. What I like to do is I thread one of these in here before I put the top plate on. So you put that in here. Run it all the way down, just like that. And then go ahead and tighten it. And that's going to tighten that standoff Show it this way so you can see it. Tighten that standoff right into this steel plate, and it should not come loose. It should actually be difficult to get it loose. So what you do after that is you grab a pair of those pliers, hold on to the standoff, and pull that screw out. So when you hold on to the standoff, that makes sure it doesn't come back loose when you pull the screw out. So that's why you have to do that. But again, that puts it in there, makes it very, very tight and very difficult to get out of there. So next we have a variable camera mount. This comes standard on here, so it just made it very easy. This is 40 to 50 degrees. So all the way down you're gonna be 40, all the way up you're gonna be 50. It might vary a little bit. This is based on a standard like Pred 5 or HD0 upgraded lens, which is I believe 13 millimeters diameter. So if you have something that's a little smaller, 12 millimeters, give or take, and it's gonna probably change your angle a little bit, but it should still be very close to that 40 to 50 degrees mark. It's only gonna give you more if you have a smaller lens. So, but go ahead. This is gonna be the front half. This is the back. You've got the strain leaf for the ESC lead. So put that on there. Well, with your camera on, but put that on there just like that. We have a standard antenna connector. This is made for SMA primarily, but you can run probably most any antenna in here. Go ahead and put that on there. And obviously you're putting your components in here, ESC, FC, so on. And then you come to your top plate, and this is a bonus. Not sure it's gonna stay like this, but the supplier threaded these screws. You have countersink screws on here, and you can put your VTX up here, put your RX right next to it. There's plenty of build room in here, especially if you're running HD0. I put the V3 up here. Actually, I think I have the 5-volt whoop, the V2 whoop on here. I just have it taped down, so you can just you can double-sided sticky tape it down, and it'll stay on there, or you can go through these screw holes, have a nice countersunk screw. And the best part about that is you can put weight on top of here too. So if you need more weight to be able to make straight leak spec, put it up in here, and then on top there's a room inside this fin or whatever you want to call this, dome, whatever the top piece is. There's room in here, so you put that on there, and it sits just like that, so your weight will sit inside of this. It'll be protected. You can double-sided sticky tape it, put it on there. You can tape it on there. Should stay in there very, very easily, and it goes on top of your countersunk screw, so everything fits very nicely. So put that on there, and the best thing about this, you can put it either way. So you want your VTX up front near your camera, or you want it in the back near the antenna, put it on here. You can put your RX in there, and it just fits in there very, very snug. So put that on there. Put the top little dome on there, and you just run these right in. The battery died, so I had to do a quick reset on the GoPro here, but I was putting these in. So you can thread these in a little bit. The holes are tight on purpose on this top print, because you put these in here and then you can just take it on and off. You don't have to pull the screws out all the way, so that makes it very easy. I don't put thread locker on these just because a lot of times you're taking the top plate off and on more often than. A lot more often than changing arbors, because you're getting into components or changing things inside or whatnot. So put that on there just like this, and we'll run it right in. And that's a simple 70. Again, very simple, very strong frame, very difficult to break, and very close to weight, just like this. I need to build one up, and we'll see. We'll come out of the carbon top plate again, but we'll see how people are getting to weight and how that works out. If we do carbon, it'll still be 6 millimeters, so it'll be a 1-for-1 replacement. Still have the countersunk holes, won't be tapped, but it'll have the countersunk holes, and it'll be just as easy to build. So here is the stacked arm version. Right here is a fully built version. We have the braces on here. Have what I did with this, actually, the RX, I didn't make the leads long enough. I didn't want to change it, so I actually just taped the RX to the back of the camera, double-sided tape, and it's good to go. I've been running it like that. I have the antennas. This is tracer. I actually have the antennas taped right up to the carbon. There's tape between the carbon and the antenna, but I've been running it just like that, taped up to the arm, and it works perfectly well. So keeps it nice and strong. Don't have to worry about your leads or your antennas getting cut. And this one thing that's not included. These little bumpers on the front of the arm. So I'll make some for the double stack arms. These are just for the single stack. They are interchangeable, so they can go either side, left side or right side. You can front to back. You just put a little zip tie on here. These are not included currently, but if you guys watch the video, so if you want these, shoot me a message or put a note in your order. I'll add some of these in for you. Again, they help protect the arms, but the best part is they allow you to, almost any surface you can preload and get a little extra time, or save a little bit of time on your launch, right? So put those on there, and you're good to go. But essentially, this is it. This is the Simple 70. That's it for now. We'll be putting it up on the site soon, so let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll talk to y'all later. Catch you guys soon.